Millions of brown and black people around the world think so, and may be putting themselves at risk to become more fair. Peens. Now, many of these unregulated products contain toxic ingredients, putting lives at risk. Now, a common thread found where skin lightening is popular is that a fair appearance equals beauty and success. Did fairness come to signify beauty and success in so many brown and black cultures? Joining us on Skype is Dr. Yaba Blay. She's the co-director of Africana Studies at Drexel University in Philadelphia and has done a lot of research on skin bleaching in Africa. Finally from Dubai, Dr. Fazeela Abbasi is a dermatologist and founder of the Advanced Dermatology Clinic in Pakistan. It's great to have you all in the stream. I am going to start with an ad campaign called Dark is Beautiful that is currently running in India. The idea is that darker skinned Indians are facing prejudice, and this is the answer back to people who differentiate between dark and fair in India.
We realize and we admit the fact that the growing trend for skin lightening has almost reached epidemic levels. And as she said, that this is a self-denying legacy of the colonialism where white was right and white is still right. So I think we need to come out of that, and that's where the mindset has to be changed. That's where Nan Dita Das and other people who think that they can influence the mindset, they have to come and they have to play their roles. Which is like kind of complicated, because I at the moment would like to talk about the skin lightening from the point of view of a dermatologist and from a medical point of view. For me, there is no absolute no for this, but then it has to be done for the right indications. I mean, a lot of people, they come and they have to get this treatment because it's a genuine treatment. Where I need to step in is that I have to guide them what is right and what is wrong, because I have got multiple lasers and light treatments back home, which has become like the bread and butter of my clinic, because the most requested aesthetic procedure back home in my clinic is a skin lightening procedure. I have to educate the patients what is right and what is wrong.
Dr. Abbasi, I have a question
I know you people are trying to
Dr.
touch
Abbasi,
the culture.
I have a question for you. There's a little delay, so sometimes you may hear Dr. Abbasi just speak a little bit longer than normal. I have a question for you. What you're saying sounds quite defensive because you are a dermatologist. What about an ad campaign that is focused on darker skinned Indians, because they are literally facing prejudice because of their skin tone? Of course you have something to gain.
I totally agree. As when you said define, you said define beauty, and I said, to me, every color, everything created by God is beautiful. So when you talk about Indians, I'm not far from Indians. I'm from Pakistan and we are neighbors. We have got the same skin type. We have got the same culture, almost the same culture. So the ad campaign which is going, as I said, is something which I'm going to support. And I'm not going to touch the cultural aspect at this very moment, because as I said, it's quite complicated.
So Dr. Abbasi, I'm going to bring the community in at this point, just so that we can share this conversation with our viewers and everybody online as well.
Well, Dr. Abbasi mentioned a lot of things there, and the last thing she said was that she's not going to touch the cultural aspect of this, but our community is. Jay Asperry on Facebook says, I'm brown-skinned. It's awful the backlash that we get for being this color. Not always, but it happens a lot amongst my own people, family especially. But Yaba, one of the other things that Dr. Abbasi mentioned was colonization. Now, Idris on Facebook says, because the majority of the world with darker skin were colonized by people with lighter skin, you have a bunch of darker people with low self-esteem aspiring to look like their former colonizers.
You know, everybody's talking about the colonialism and the Caucasian skin and how it has become the hallmark of beauty. But I think I'm going to agree with him that, you know, it's also something which is like a basic inherent human trait. You crave for what you don't have. So the Western world is tanning, and the Eastern world is trying to get and trying to have a lighter skin tone. So I have to warn everybody out there, because everybody is talking about the whitening creams and the topicals, but let me warn you about a new threat, which are the whitening injections, and that's becoming prevalent. I mean, back home, girls, they're coming with LFTs, which are the liver function tests, being abnormal, and they're suffering from a liver damage, they're suffering from renal damage. Why? Because the whitening injections, which are the glutathione injections, they are just injected in their bloods, and it's becoming very, very prevalent. So we need to talk about that as well, and there needs to be, there has to be an awareness, in public, as well as we need to pose a question to the government and the regulatory authority bodies. And people like like social activists and NGOs, they need to talk about this a little more. So let's talk about the whitening injections back home and in the eastern part of the world that we are talking about, apart from talking about the whitening creams.
So, Dr. Abbasi, you just brought up an injection. I was also reading up about pills as well. I don't even understand how a pill can lighten your skin. Can you explain in a way that all of us will understand what's being injected in you that makes you lighter?
Well,
and what would you
yes.
ingest that makes you
now,
lighter?
See, that's
just in an easy
misbranded.
way to understand.
Okay, that's called. Absolutely. Glutathione is something which is like, let's say it's like a vitamin. It's an antioxidant, and that is just to make you healthy. But then the manufacturers, they're claiming that this is a whitening thing, and if you inject it in your blood, you take it as an IV injection, it's going to lighten the skin tone. Now, in hope of getting a lighter skin tone, a patient who is socially and culturally pushed to a point where she is willing to do anything and everything, she goes in hands of an amateur, and let me call them predators, because this is a very unethical approach on part of a medical, on part of my medical fraternity. There are people who are doing it, and they go and they get it injected in their bloods, their livers are getting damaged. I have seen young girls suffering from liver, severe liver problems, just because in hope of getting a lighter skin tone, they have been having these kind of injections. So you need to talk about that as well, because so far what I assume is that we're talking about creams and formulations, but nobody's talking about the skin bleaching which is going on in the salons.
Okay, so
which
Dr.
is in
Abbasi, you
the
just
spas,
have, so
and that is
you.
nothing but that's ammonia.
As we're having this conversation, I can see you're pursing your lips. You're not happy. Why are you not happy?
No, actually, I think I might bore you with my hardcore terminology, as Dr. Yaba said, that she is somebody who has to look into the theory and the history of what's going on. So I think on those lines. And if I have to talk about the whitening agents, I have to inform the public about the carcinogenic effects and the role of FDA in it, because you are sitting in US doing this show, and the FDA hasn't taken a strong stance on labeling the 4% and the 2% hydroquinone as a medicine or as a cosmetic. So you need to pose a question to the Federal Drug Authority regulatory body, but that's not going to be an easy thing, because there is an interest of the manufacturers, which are millions of companies in the world selling millions of products worth millions of dollars. So it's not that easy. So it's like a vicious circle, and you just can't find one end of the thread. It's like it's quite complicated, but I have to inform you about the different threats, not just the creams, but the lasers. People, they're falling in hands of amateurs, getting damages, of all sorts, scars, and they're even risking, if pregnant women, they're doing it because that's available over the counter. So even a woman is pregnant, she's not knowing that this is something that I cannot use, and that's not even written on the product, because it's just available
Dr. Abbasi,
everywhere over the counter.
We have time for right now, unfortunately, in this conversation. Thank you so much. I have to also say, although we're sitting here in Washington, D.C., our entire show is seen all over the world. So it's not just about regulations in the US, we're also talking about skin whitening products around the world. So we're out of time. Even in a super-sized post show, it's never long enough. Not even when we super-size.